Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Understanding Human Design podcast. I'm Karen Curry Parker, and I am super excited to have with me here today Annita Keane. Annita Keane has been a human design student for a long time, 7 years now. So you've already gone through one full cycle of deconditioning. She has been using human design with her clients and really using it as a tool to help her on her mission to help transformational coaches and other practitioners to share their gifts and be rewarded in an aligned way, in a sustainable way, in a prosperous way from the work that they do, from the work that they themselves are giving and sharing with the world. So I'm just really, really anxious to have a really fun conversation with you about two of my very favorite topics that are often married together, but often are not. And I think that's an interesting challenge for us. You teach a lot, Annita, about, but by the way, welcome. I got so excited I skipped over the whole welcome part.
I know.
I was back. So because you talk about something that is just so incredibly near and dear to my heart. And it's near and dear to my heart because I think that this little phrase that I'm going to give you guys in a minute, I'm teasing you all. This little phrase has contained within it the most important part of teaching this subject that we don't really talk about. You are an expert in teaching people, practitioners, service-based professionals, people who have a message and a mission in the world, how to tap into their sustainable prosperity, which is a little bit different than manifesting, abundance, deliberate creation, and all that other stuff we talk about. You talk about the nature of creating sustainable prosperity. Talk to me for a minute about what do you mean by sustainable prosperity?
Oh my goodness. Sustainable to me is moving, and we're all moving this way if we're transformational practitioners, from using our adrenal emergency generator as a resource to moving our heart and soul and our core as our resource. Mm-hmm. So that's really what I mean. Moving into the space where I'm intentionally sharing, creating in a way that's win-win for me, for my client, and teaching my client to do that with their clients. As a projector, I've come through a ton load of working with clients and being burnt out because I applied the hospital emergency application of work to my business. And, I'd be sitting there, I'd be doing the process, the coaching, whatever. My client would dance out of the room and I'd be picked up off the floor. So my journey has been to sustain my own energy. And the key has been move from that stress as fuel to that, it's not emotional love, it's that universal love as the fuel. It's a game changer.
So I want to just restate this because I think this is really important and something I think we don't talk about a lot, because especially when we talk about projectors, but any of the open sacral types, and frankly, even the generator types, I mean, everybody has the potential to burn out. And I think particularly in the service professions, that potential to burn out is huge because we are so deeply invested in our clients. We love them. We see their unique place in the cosmic plan, and we want so badly for everything to work out for them that we put everything into it, right? And we're kind of, I think, sometimes dragging them forward into their evolution by the force of our own will. And it does leave us feeling like, oh, is it Saturday yet? Or worse, right?
Yeah.
So what I heard you say was that you can't draw on your own energy to support your clients, to stay sustainable in your service-based business, but rather that you have to find a different source of energy. So am I getting that right?
I think you are. Go on. I'm so excited.
So you are a projector, so I won't ask you any more generator questions. So okay. I'm wondering, Annita, I'm wondering whether you can tell us a little bit about how does one go about tapping into that different quality, different source of energy?
Okay. Really easily, actually. You'll be surprised. Energy work, breathing from your chest into your belly, taking a deep belly breath, actually reverses the whole nervous system in your body from working from the systemic stress to the autonomic or universal love. Basically, the whole physiology reverses. So I use energy work, I use mindset techniques, I use human design to help people understand, manifesting isn't just about positive thinking. It's about knowing how you're wired to process that information and how you connect it with that sacral source, with that decision authority to allow you to move with aliveness. We're like multicellular amoebas, right? We need to know how to move towards what nurtures us and away from what doesn't. Often the mind gets in the way. So that's just one way of doing it. But I combine a number of different energy techniques and use, as you taught me, human design as the map for the application of those tools for us to stay in balance. So it starts with the breath. Inspire, having wonderful ideas, to inspire, breathe in. It is the same thing. So when I'm inspiring correctly to align all my energies, I am triggering my brain to go, oh, possibilities, instead of, oh my God, there's a threat. I'm triggering my heart to go, oh, this is amazing. I can allow this, to, oh my God, there's something going on. They're going to hurt me. To the body, to actually taking the action that allows taking the action on, I call it the cosmic magic carpet. Why not?
So what if somebody's out there and they're trying really hard to save the world with their business, they're loving on their clients, they are passionate about transforming them, but they are struggling to sustain the quality of energy necessary for them to keep their business flowing? What do you think they need to do, like in the emergency sense, if they're like really butting up against burnout to a point where they're really questioning, can I even go to work tomorrow? What's the first thing someone in that kind of a situation needs to do to be able to start the process of shifting from their personal energy, if you will, to being able to connect more deeply with their heart?
Oh, call me. Call me. The first thing that you do is just put your hands on your heart and say, just stop a minute. Just stop. Just take a deep breath and ask yourself, am I ready? Now, because I've been there, as you well know, am I ready to be well enough and healthy enough and strong enough to be able to sustain my clients, that they get the best of me rather than the rest of me? And I've learned that without exception, that our personal care, and especially as transformational specialists, we're not teaching knitting here, as I'm probably quoting you. We're not teaching people to go fishing. We're teaching people to navigate change. We're teaching them to move past the fears that immediately crop up when we're going out of our comfort zone. And until our new place is a new comfort zone, it's a wobble, whether we like it or not, right? It's nothing wrong with us. It's nothing. So the human design shows us that pathway. I call it the prosperity pathway, which is to integrate your expansion instead of that stop, start. You know, the one where I'm expanding and then, oh my God, something terrible happens and I crawl into a cocoon for 2 years, to expanding again to. So the sustainability is understanding your design and how you're actually wired to lean into that and integrate that expansion rather than knock yourself out with it. Does that make sense?
Totally. So share with me do you have a case study or a story you can share with us just to illuminate the possibility?
Oh, absolutely. I had a client who came into me there a good while ago now, but this is a great example. Did all her work, was doing all sorts of different energy work and training and working with clients. And she had written this book. It was a book about her husband, the journey that she went on to see her husband through to his transition. And she was there, Anita, I've done all the work. I know what to do. I can't make myself do it. And this is what I love about human design, the specificity. We can really dial in to what can be happening for her. So I was there, oh, I'm not surprised. You have a lot of energy here that predisposes you to, on one hand, naturally identify what needs to change. On the other hand, you can be quite a perfectionist. You know, you can have the potential to be a perfectionist. It's time for you to hand it over. Hand the book over to an editor or someone who will be able to do it. Because if you try to do it yourself, which of course we all do, we're the healers. Remember, I'll do it myself. I can do it. And then we feel there's something wrong if we can't. So she handed it over to a woman I recommended her to. And within 6 months, she was a #1 best-selling author.
Wow.
The note I got from her was, you know, I thought I knew it all. And I did. And then I met Human Design and Anita. And just a few sessions, you were able to tell me, oh, there's nothing wrong. This is just part of who you are. You just got to manage it and get it in balance rather than let it run you. You know, when I say about human design, energy, being an energy worker, there's too high, too low, and there's the middle ground, right? The balance. So if I have too much energy, no matter what happens, my superpowers become super liabilities. So, so if I'm good at being in control, I become controlling, micromanaging. Or on the other side, I avoid taking control at all cost. So it's really, for her, it was, teach her the tools to get in balance so that her perfectionism allowed her to tune in to that she was going to the correct editor, making the decision and taking the step by step to come to the correct places to get her work done. And now she's brilliant now. She's using that in her work. Because how many of us, and luckily I haven't, but how many people have cared for their sick ones, their elderly or whatever, and then come out the other side, and rather than being totally burnt out, actually can help someone else now. It's, you know, it's beautiful. So that's what she's doing, using her book.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so you said something that I have to pull this thread a little bit, because this is actually something that came up yesterday in one of the Understanding Human Design community calls that we had last night. And we were actually talking about burnout. And one of my students was saying, or one of our community members was saying, you know, when we are professionals who are out leading others, helping others, healing others, it's very hard sometimes to reach out and ask for help because we're the helpers. And you know, there's a certain amount of vulnerability that happens when you're a helper to say, you know, I can't right now, I'm burned out, I'm struggling, I feel lost, I'm having my own challenges here. Talk to me for just a minute about the path of being a healer and how you can give yourself permission to reach out for help if you're struggling, even though you're a healer.
That is a great question, Karen. It's one of the toughest because being a projector, I know everything. And I was brought up I know everything. And I was brought up in a generator household. So I am going to save the world while I know everything. So I was a complete mess, right? I think the best way, sorry, I'm after distracting myself from the question. I think the best way, and this is why I'm offering the Oasis, the Prosperity Pathway Oasis, the best way is the acknowledgement that we need more support than ever now. We need to pull up our energetic big girl pants and really recognize that we're not just dealing with hundreds and thousands of people waking up right now. We're dealing with millions of people waking up right now. And I would invite everybody who is doing this work, remember your wake-up call. it wasn't kind of roses and honey that it came by. Like, it was, it was the brick between the eyes, it was the headless chicken or the deer in headlights. It wasn't a very nice thing usually that happened to us to wake up. So you have a huge amount more people in that space now. You have the cosmic weather that's exaggerating it, right? Amplifying it. So where the anti might have been at this level for the last 10 years, it's now moved up here. So with transformational expert looking for help, it's really, you're not looking for help. You're just setting up a support network. I call it my team, to make sure that I'm keeping an eye on my blind spots, no pun intended, to make sure that I'm in balance, because it's so easy to think I'm in balance. It's so easy. I'm fine. I'm fine. And the higher that octave for I'm fine goes, the more out of balance you are. So, yeah, exactly. I'm fine. Really, I am. But your clients are coming in and they're putting on a brave face and they are going, or even on a video, as we know, even on the phone and on the internet, they're coming in, they're going, we're grand. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I just need a bit of help. All their fear energy, their anger energy that they're picking up from people that they're with, you're sitting in that. So we need more help now than ever. We need more support now than ever. So for me, my oasis is a place where you learn and develop your energetic tools with people who are doing the same, who want to help others in a way that they can sustain themselves, because we're needed now more than ever. So we're not getting support because there's something wrong. We're getting support because if we were in a normal job, we'd have a team.
Right.
We would have a team. So there's only so much our spiritual team can do. And this is why our human team, when we're all in that beautiful energy, it's really sustainable. It's kind of like the oasis, I call it. It's like a reset for transformational specialists so that we can stay aligned. Because it's so easy to jump in the fire with people. We're so committed to helping. We're so wired to help. But when we're in the fire with them, we're useless. And the fireman doesn't jump in there. And the fireman does a ton load of training, right? He does a ton load, or she do a ton load of training to make sure they don't jump into the fire. It's just that our fires are not as easily recognizable.
That's a brilliant point. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have a program called the Prosperity Pathway. Tell us a little bit about that.
The Prosperity Pathway is utilizing human design to help you, as I say, navigate the wobble of the expansion. Every change we make, even if you were working on the 64 in your chart, that change just osmosises, if that's a word, through your body. It just creates a change in everything for you. It's like we're wiping the slate. Do you know that old game that kids play where they draw on it, and then they put a thing across the screen and it disappears?
Was it the Etch-a-Sketch?
Etch-a-Sketch. There you go.
Yeah,
yeah. So the Prosperity Pathway is really dialing into what exactly stops you. What is it you do when you get insecure in relationships? Because let's face it, the relationship is with our client. If we overhelp them, we're coming across with desperate dating energy. If we underhelp them, we're giving them too much of our energy. There's a real dynamic, I call it a therapeutic dynamic. That's probably the wrong word. But the Prosperity Pathway helps you understand, well, when you know how you respond in relationships and what your number one fear might be, which keeps you in a scarcity trap, when you know how to befriend the fear rather than let it run your life and overcome your Chiron, your what you're here to learn, that's when you're switching on your inner prosperity pathway. And you're not just a magnet, like you're a lighthouse. Your message, you magnetize the people who want to help you, the people who want to work with you, and your message just sounds like, it doesn't sound like really small and really small. You can hardly hear me. It sounds, hey, I'm Anita, and guess what? And people kind of go, I'm still not sure what you do, but I want to work with you. or there was one thing you said. And so it just, it literally moves from the stress, which is 10% of our potential, to 100% of our potential. We're tapping into our whole zone. It would be the equivalent of, after a storm, you change from your emergency generator to your full generator, and the whole house goes, including you, because you're there. Oh, thank God, I can use the hairdryer now, or I can cook a nice dinner or whatever. So the Prosperity Pathway is a simple 6-week program, and it is for transformational specialists, because we're kind of in the work already to just dial in where we may be sabotaging ourselves and unhooking those old habits so that we utilize them moving forward instead of let them trip over us. So it's not healing, it's not deconditioning, it's actually working your design. And it's really cool.
Beautiful. So how can people learn more about this? Where can they find you?
They can find me at www.anitakeane.com, which is ANNITA, and my Prosperity Pathway is there. They can contact me through that. And I actually think that's probably the easiest way. Go to my website. You'll see the.
So I'm going to spell this because you are from Ireland. And,
I am.
and you spell all those things differently than we do here. So I want to make sure people can really find you. So it's AnitaKeane.com. It's ANNITAKEANE.com, right? So AnitaKeane.com. So go find Anita and get on the prosperity pathway without hesitation so that I just finished doing a TED Talk 2 weeks ago about the hidden causes of burnout and how we tend to think that burnout, in fact, the World Health Organization classifies burnout as something that can only be related to work-related circumstances, that cannot be applied to real life situations and certainly can't be sourced in real life situations. And I think that we're missing the boat on the definition of burnout in a big way. I think that there are a lot of people in this world who are very burned out, and it has nothing to do with hating their job, not getting well paid, and not having a passion around what they do. I think it has a lot to do with not knowing how to do what you do in the way that's right for you. And I think you are doing such an amazing job of really giving people the lens through which to really see themselves and how they operate in the world so that they can better tap into the fulfillment of their potential and to not get locked into that place of depletion or self-judgment or just not working in alignment with who you are. If you're designed to operate in a certain way and you're trying to run your whole program in a way that it isn't aligned with you and it doesn't work, I think we have a tendency, again, especially I think in our community, to really go into, well, I must be blocked. I must have a karmic problem. I must have had the wrong mindset. We go into these really deep places of self-recrimination because we have these very simplified beliefs of, well, your thoughts create reality. I was having good thoughts. My reality didn't work. I must have a problem. And maybe the problem isn't you really have a problem as much as you're just not doing it in the way that's right for you. So I really, really appreciate you standing out there as that beautiful projector, orchestrator guide that you are, leading people down a pathway that helps them align more deeply, not only with themselves and their own sustainability, but gives them the tools for them to be able to transmit that to their clients as well. So good job, good work, important work.
Thank you. And I agree with you. The number one cause of burnout is not living your purpose. Because no matter what you do, you're living through it. And it really is. I totally agree with you. The yearning, the longing, the thinking that something is missing, the needing more, the not enoughness, it's all, I know there's some, but we're looking out here for it instead of in here. And that's totally, yeah. I love this. This is why I love this so much. It's just so cool. You're right. It's so cool. So everything we can do.
So Anita, thank you for joining me today. I just want to spell this out for everybody again. Anita Keane, ANNITAKEANE.com. Go connect with Anita. go explore her prosperity pathway, go discover the prosperity pathway oasis and how you can create sustainably in alignment with your purpose and from that place where you serve at your highest level. Thank you for joining me today. It's been so great to catch up with you and chat with you, because you've been building big things in the couple of years that we haven't really caught up. So it's good to see you.
Absolutely. Thanks a million, Karen. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
As always, it's lovely to catch up. Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.